Hey everybody, how y'all doing? It's been a long time since my last video. I was busy, very busy. That is the reason why it takes so long. Now in today's topic we're gonna talk about some of the activities that was going on in Guyana for the past 2 weeks. First we're gonna go down to the nurses them who protesting for increase in salary. And then we can move on to Ramjatan comments about the reopening of the sugar industries. And then we can move on to the squatters. Okay, so let's get right into this. We're gonna start with the Minister of Public Service, the Honorable Sonia Parag, and then move on from there, okay?
Good evening, Minister. Now, Minister, there have been a series of protests across the country by frontline workers. They have some grievances. How will the government address this issue?
Well, first of all, it was brought to my attention today that there were sporadic protests in Region 5. I believe it started in Region 10, and we've had it in Region 3, 4, 5, and 6. In relation to the protests, what I would say is that there are several legislation laws in place that guides grievances of essential workers, of the public sector at large. And specifically with the health sector, they're also known as essential workers. There are certain steps that are to be taken before you jump into a protest. As far as I'm aware, those steps were not taken in accordance with the laws. And up to today's date, up to this time, the Ministry of Public Service and the Ministry of Health, we are unaware as to exactly what the grievances are. We're not unaware, but we're unclear as to what the grievances are because they have moved from risk allowance to increase in salary. It's changing as it goes along. But at this point in time, I have consulted prior to coming to giving the interview. I would have consulted with the Chief Labor Officer and the various agencies in relation to the protests. And I could not get an answer as it relates to what exactly the grievances are because it's still unclear. Now, also, there are no correspondence. Notice was not given that there would be a protest. So I don't believe that the laws and the legislations were followed, the relevant laws and legislation in relation to any grievances that they have.
Now, Minister, as it relates to the risk allowance and other benefits, there are some provisions in the budget. Could you speak a little bit about those provisions?
Right. So the government, in its budgetary measures, have catered for $150 million to be given to frontline workers. Those who come within the definition of a frontline worker will be given and will benefit from that $150 million.
Okay, Minister. Notice was not given that there would be a protest. The guidelines that are set out that they could have used before going on the road to protest, they did not take those options. It's because the protest was never for the nurses. The protest was never for them to benefit nothing out of the protest. The protest was organized by the PNC. That's why you couldn't see nobody coming forward and claiming what they're really protesting for. There is no objectives of what they are protesting for. Right? They start with, like you say, increase the salary, risk allowance. Now, nobody know what they're protesting for now. Because from the starting, none of them know what they're protesting for. They just go out to protest because they call out by the PNC to protest. And that is the slang they would have used for the protests. They want risk allowance and increase in salary. Now, they don't know, or probably they do know, but they're trying to ignore the fact that the only set of people the protesters is going to benefit is Harmon, James Bond, Granger, and the cabal. Because the more they come and protest, meaningless protests, the more they come out on the road, is more Harmon and Granger have to talk about. The more they come out and protest, is the more they make it difficult for the government of the day to run the country. That is the objectives of the PNC. They're trying to make the country ungovernable. That's why I went up to number 5 after the 3 young men was murdered. Start a protest. Now I would like somebody from number 5 to come out and tell the public, since the protest finished, how much time they see somebody from the AP and UFC go and visit them. How much help they receive from them since the protest finished. And I could bet that nobody go back and help them. Nobody even call nobody from there. But that is what the PNC is doing. Using them and then throw them in a corner when they don't get what they want them to do. Right, so nobody coming forward to give a definite statement as to why they are protesting now and what they're trying to obtain from this protest. Right now, the nurses them working at least $100,000 a month. That is the least. Right? What more than that they want? When Granger was in power, I didn't see nobody coming and protest for no raise of pay. I didn't see nobody coming and protest for no risk allowance. Right? There was no protest by nobody. But now the PPP in power. Yes. 2 months now. They come like, the PPP them is like a wizard. They have this one and just find they want something and it just happen like that. There's the ignorance of the people who protesting. The people 2 months in government. How much you can expect them to do in 2 months? They already done in the 2 months more than what Granger done in 5 years. They already done more than that. And it's only 2 months. Y'all have to wait because the president of the day, Irfan Ali, said before the 5-year finish, every single Guyanese will see a difference in the lifestyle. Now we have to wait until these promises come true. It will be before 5 years, but it cannot be within 2 months. We need to give the ruling party a chance to do what they have to do. Now it's logics. If by the end of the term, the 5 years, they are not producing what they say they will produce, then we vote them out. It's simple as that, but we have to give them a chance. We cannot continue going on the road protesting for every little stupidness. We cannot keep following Harmon and Granger and them going out on the road protesting. Right? Because they cannot benefit none of y'all who protesting. It can only benefit Granger them. Right? Give the government a chance. Wait until the appropriate time and then you can go and protest. But you can't just go and protest because them call it a protest. Now, if I was the government, I'd take back certain benefits that y'all was getting. Because I think $100,000 at the moment is a lot of money. Okay? Now they put it $150 million to benefit the essential workers. Y'all don't even wait until the money come on board yet to see where y'all can benefit from that money. But y'all coming for raise a pay in 2 months when Granger them left no money in there. Everything the thief out, and nobody wasn't protesting for that. Every single cent the thief out. They even borrow and thief. And nobody wasn't protesting for that. Nobody didn't want to raise a pay then. Nobody didn't want to risk allowance then. You understand? The people them just pass an emergency budget where everybody can benefit. And y'all coming out to protest but raise a pay. And y'all don't even wait for see where the $150 million is going to go. What they're going to do with it. If they're going to give y'all a percentage of y'all increase in salary. Or if they're going to give y'all a kind of bonus or something. Y'all don't wait for see that. Come on, people. Y'all are essential. Y'all are nurses. Doctors. Right? Y'all have better sense than what y'all exposing at the moment. Y'all are educated people. Don't let Granger them use y'all for them personal gains. Yes, y'all supporting the PNC. There is no problem in supporting the PNC. But let the PNC using y'all to do wrong thing is a different thing than supporting them. Right? Because it look like y'all is willing to go down any road they want to carry y'all. It doesn't matter what they do or what they say they want. Y'all willing to take them chances. The government should have fired some of y'all and see if them gonna come and give y'all $100,000 a month. Right? The government should have fired some of you. And then later days replace the rest of y'all who protesting. Right? Find other nurses and replace y'all. And let y'all run to Granger and Harmon and James Bond to give y'all $100,000 a month. Come on, people. Y'all have better sense than that. Y'all have better sense than that. But y'all got it good. Y'all trying to bully the government. Y'all trying to abuse y'all little power that y'all have. Right? That is what y'all trying to do. Abuse the situation to benefit y'all party where y'all supporting. Because it's not to benefit y'all. It's not going to benefit y'all. Y'all boycott every other resources that y'all could have used before going on a protest and jump straight into a protest. This is not something normal. Okay, y'all cannot fool nobody. Right? And y'all cannot gain nothing through ignorance or bullyism. Y'all will not gain nothing the way. There are ways and means that you can do things to achieve what you want to achieve. Unless you go through the right procedure, you are not going to get nothing. They should fire some of y'all and replace the rest of y'all within the 5 years. I was the government. That would be my move. They are got to who you are trying to represent and who you are trying to protest for. Pay y'all $100,000 a month.
We have had an industry that has caused us so many billions. I have constantly indicated that when we took government, we had to, on the very first month, bail out Gaisuco to the tune of about $11 billion. And then in the following year, another 9 and whatever, 14 and so on. In these years that came up to the very end of the third year, we had spent $36 billion bailing out sugar.
The derelict nature of the equipment and the misspending of 81 million euros signal a most unprofitable industry.
So the industry has become what Cathy Hughes has called a black hole. More money going to be pumped into it. And we know largely that the sugar base is a PPP base. And that is not good when you're going to take money from taxpayers' revenues and just dump it there for purposes of indicating to your supporters that you are going to support them.
Okay, Mr. Ramjatan. Y'all spend $36 billion within 3 years to bail out Gaisuku. You know why y'all have to spend those kind of money? And $36 billion did not go to Gaisuku. It's a figure that is registered that it was allocated to Gaisuku, but most of the money was thieved out. Now, Gaisuku was poorly managed under the APNUAFC. That is why y'all could have spent the kind of money y'all claiming y'all spent. Right? It was poorly managed. The 81 million euros that y'all said was misused by Gaisuku is because Gaisuku was poorly managed. People thief out the money that y'all claiming y'all pump into Gaisuku. Yes, y'all did pump in some money, but not the money y'all claiming y'all put in. 36 billion Guyana dollars, then 81 million euros. Now, you're saying that PPP opening back the sugar industry to benefit the supporters, and they're using taxpayers' money to do that. Now, who are the taxpayers? In those same people who work on the sugar estate. They are not taxpayers. So if you give him back the taxpayers some of the money to keep them employed, is that a bad thing? Right? Now the next thing is the PPP supporters, whether from the moon or they are Guyanese. Based on my knowledge, they are Guyanese. And is Guyanese benefiting from the money they put into the sugar industries? Y'all throw out thousands and thousands of workers from the sugar industries when y'all close it down. Where those people was getting money from to maintain themselves and the family. Right? Now, reopening the sugar industry, if you're pumping in money to it. In the PPP 5 years, we can see how much money they're pumping in to the sugar industry. If within the 5 years, it can come to $36 billion, it would not even come close to that. And they're going to expose that y'all was thieving out the money y'all claiming y'all pumping to the sugar industry. Right? Now, let me give you some benefits, Ramjatan, because y'all seems to have a close eye on certain things. Reopening the sugar industry can create jobs for thousands of Guyanese, not only PPP supporters. That is one. Reopening the sugar industry can maintain the drainage system throughout the region where cane is being harvested, because all those canals gonna have to be clean. Pulling a pond through them gonna keep them clean, and so we get better drainage through those canals. The sugar industry close. All those canals back up with stuff, grass. How much y'all gonna pay to keep them clean? Because they have to be clean for the drainage system. How much y'all gonna spend to clean them? Right? How much people y'all gonna use to clean them? That is something y'all should be coming out saying, because that is the fact. Good? So, when you coming out claiming that PPP spending this money on the sugar industry to benefit their supporters, yes, some of them are PPP supporters. And on the platform of PPP rallies, this is what they say they're going to do. They say that in the manifesto that they will be reopening those sugar industries that are closed down for the benefit of those workers that would have lost their jobs and to keep the canals them clean for proper drainage. Good. Now, in 3 years, you have spent 36 billion plus 81 million euros. We're going to see in PPP 5 years how much they're going to spend. Right? We're going to see. But the people them who voting for you, Ramjatan, a lot of them are Indians. And majority of the PPP supporters are Indians. And now you're saying that PPP should not spend money to reopen the sugar industries because Indians can benefit. Now the Indians them who voting for you have to be a bunch of jackass to continue voting for you when you have nothing in your heart, no feelings for them or the family. You only thinking about you and yourself. Right? Because if you saying that PPP can take taxpayers' money to pump into the sugar industry, the cane cutters them, the people who work in the factories, throughout the entire sugar industry, everybody who work in there are taxpayers too. Those people probably spend the most money in the country. Now, the nurses them who protesting is PNC supporters asking for increase in salary. The increase in salary, where they get any money from? They in taxpayers' money too. That is not taxpayers' money. Y'all ain't saying nothing about that. Right? Again, the government of the day have to do what it takes to make the lives of Guyanese people better. If they mean they have to pump in money into Gaisuku to keep the people in working. Now, I'm sure I hear Jagir say something that he can reopen the sugar industries, and until he find other source of employment for those people, he gonna keep it open. Now, I think that is the right thing to do before you just close it down and put thousands of people out of a job. You keep them employed, find other ways and means how to employ them in other institutions or factories or various places where you can find job for them before you close it down. You can't just close it down and put the people them and the family out of a bread. What kind of leadership that would be? What kind of leadership that would be? So if you have to put money into a company to keep the people employed until better could be done, that is what you have to do. That is what a true leader will do. Right? That is what a true leader will do. So Ramjitan, you can come out and complain and talk what kind of bullshit you want to talk. It's not going to make a difference. Right? The people them have to work. The more them work, the more them get money, is the more they will spend money. So the money will come back to the government, because every time they spend, they pay in tax. The same people them you're saying that the government using taxpayers' money to create a job for, they have to pay tax too. They have to buy food. They have to buy various things with the money they're working for.
Jitan also addressed the prison situation. He said that the PP can't promote the notion that it inherited what it considers a hellhole.
I mean, when we went into government in 2015, the prison was overpopulated by almost 2.5 times, 3 times what it was supposed to have as inmates therein. And the Patterson Commission, after the first fire, indicated the Victorian age structures that we had, wooden prisons and things like that. It is supposed to be concrete and steel, and that is what we are making now in Mazaruni.
He said that
Yes, and the Patterson administration indicated that the Victorian structures we had wooden prison. Okay, Ramjatan. And this way you are building now in Mazaruni with concrete and steel. Now, how long y'all start the prison? And how much longer, if y'all was in power, it would have taken to finish? Y'all put $1.6 billion into the Ocean View. And that get finished in a couple of months. How long it would have taken to finish the prison that y'all started? I don't know if y'all want 10 or 15 years to finish it. Right now, you're talking about the PPP and y'all inherit the prison when y'all take power in 2015. But they also inherited from Bonham in 1992. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that the PPP should have built a bigger, a better prison in the 23 years they was in power. That should have been one of the objectives. But you have to remember, when they take over the country in 1992, the country was in so much of debts. Where they would have get the money from to build the prison? When all the money coming in had to go and pay debts. Every revenue they collect, they had to pay debts with it. Where they would have get the money from to build a prison? Now, when y'all take over the country in 2015, the debts was actually wiped off already. Y'all ain't had the same burden as the PPP. Y'all had it better. Plus, y'all increased taxes by some 90-something billion dollars. The PPP didn't have the same opportunity because they did not have tax on the thing y'all start taxing because they want to help the poor people. Right? Y'all borrow close to the next $100 billion from the bank. What can that big give account for up to now? Right? But I'm saying that y'all had the better time, the better opportunity to build a prison. Based on what you're saying, y'all started already in Mazaruni. How long it would have take to finish when the Ocean View Hotel take only a couple months? Right? Shouldn't the focus be more on getting a prison done than just spending $1.6 billion on a next man property and still had to pay he $30 million a month? You didn't have to pay no rent for the prison when you finish it. That should have been a priority within your 5 years. Now, starting it is a good thing, but starting it and not finishing it, that is the next issue. Right? So, don't come pointing fingers to PPP about the prison system. They inherit the prison system from Bonham. And within the 23 years, they was trying to clear the debts of the country. They didn't have no money like what y'all had in your 5 years to build a prison. That's why a prison wasn't done under the PPP. But I'm sure before these 5 years, they're gonna finish the one y'all could not finish in your term. Okay, Ramjatan, until then, they have to stay in Luziknan. And you should let the people them know That is, y'all keep them in Lusiknan by not finishing or by not making the prison in Mazaruni y'all building now a priority to finish, to move them from there. Is y'all have them there until now. Y'all have 5 years to build a new prison to move them.
Inspector there right there was telling them I shoot all the time. Nobody do them nothing.
You should have been video just so when I shoot them people in there. And I shoot them 4 people in there.
Right there to the land down there. Right down there. And they shoot up and they take 20 people out. They don't care.
Yes! Hey, finally, please! Please! Barajak there, you promise we what happened? We never know where to go. What would they do to we? What would they doing to poor people? We never got a life. They're shooting. What would they kneel down? They're shooting people. People, little children. We never know where to go. We need the government to come forward and say something to us. Not in this way, like how they send the police to shoot the people, throw tear gas on them children, and all these things. It's not the way. They got to come forward as the government and come and speak to the people in the country. I live in Venezuela for 30 years. I returned to my country because Venezuela is very hard. And I came here to see if we could get something, but they may take me out with tear gas and bullets and them kind of things.
Never put me out. Never put me out. 30 years we squat. 30 years we squat in Venezuela and they never know we look like how they know we like a dog. They chasing we like a dog. They fire bullets. What do the police kneel down and shoot? What do the children then scatter there? We tear gas out. We didn't got the heart for Guyanese.
30 years, y'all live in Venezuela squatting. Y'all left Venezuela to come home. And before y'all come home and try to get yourself started out legally, y'all come home to break the fucking law. I am not supporting no stripping from none of y'all. I don't care where y'all fucking race be. Y'all come home to break the law. Before y'all come home to get yourself started out legally and get a piece of land legally, y'all decide y'all gonna fucking squat too in Guyana. And now the people don't come for the land I put air for all the dog and all kind of fuck. What happened to you people? What happened to you? Squatting is illegal. I don't know if it's illegal in fucking Venezuela, but it is illegal in Guyana. Squatting is illegal. Yes, and Barajag did promise y'all house lot. But y'all have to wait until the man set up the house lot them and ready to give them out before y'all get them. So because he promised I a house lot, I believe I can just go and squat and demand house lot. This way I think I should be doing. That is the right thing to do. Eh? You saying but you live in Venezuela for 30 years and come back home because Venezuela very hard. And you come home to break the fucking law. And said never do you know in Venezuela. Come on people, y'all have better sense than that. Y'all must have better sense than that. When y'all come back to Guyana from Venezuela, y'all know squatting was illegal. Y'all know that. But y'all ain't even tried to go and get a piece of land legally. Alec Granger wasn't given none, so I don't think y'all would have get any. But at least y'all should have tried to get a piece of land legally. At least y'all should have tried to see the government and give y'all the land where y'all living upon legally. Since y'all come back from Venezuela. But no, y'all want squat. And now when push come to shove, y'all calling about government this and president this and all kind of fuck about the president. Yeah? How you could want to break the law and then call on the president to help you when you finish breaking the law. The government is there to enforce the law, not to support who breaking the law. The government is not there to support nobody who breaking the law. They are there to enforce the law. Right? I get that straight. You can't come from Venezuela back home and breaking the law and then calling the government to represent you when you're breaking the law. What kind of bullshit is that? Again, yes, we all are poor people and I live in a different country. And when I come home, I would love to get a piece of land because I don't own a piece of land in my country as yet. But I'm not going to go and squat on no land. I am not going to go and squat on no land. I'm going to go into the government and beg them for a piece of land wheresoever given out land. I'm not going to leave where I am living to come back home to go and squat no way. What kind of bullshit are you telling people here? You left Venezuela and come home for go and fucking squat. I know why you're calling about government this and government and promise y'all and all kind of stupidness. So because he promised y'all can go and squat and then demand the house that we are squatting on. People, y'all best get sense, you hear?
Police give regard for anybody here, so the government gotta do something about this here, so they say thing over here, we want a peace. What we get cheering here, so what everybody get them cheering here, so just want a peace. They say it's over here now.
And the chair went up in the house,
And the tear gas blowing tail and catching them. What them get respect for people in this place no more?
Skin.
people like to wear the chair, now the chair wear them boys.
Where we get injustice from for this?
We was just standing there talking to the police officers them about the land. They come for break down the bridge and they come for move people from the center town. We got 1 hour before they start shooting and violating people. We just stand up, they stand up, and they just start firing off shot just like that.
Now I can tell y'all something, and this is from my heart. I'm telling y'all. If I was one of the people who squatting there and had me little daughter, and the police come shooting, it would be a different fucking story. As the police them don't know the place. I would have liked to see a police come shooting shots and hit me little daughter. And see what the outcome would have been then. You understand? That is bullshit. You can't go and shoot in a crowd where you see have little children. Come on, police. What kind of bullshit is that? I should be one of the father of them there with me little baby in my hand, and you are shooting tear gas and pellets. And it would be a different fucking story. Right? Yeah, I really don't know why you place no police. I telling you. And the government, I should say, Anel Nandalal should do investigation about that to know who give the orders for them to shoot. Who give the orders for them to shoot? That's what I would like to know. I know that it have little children there. Just as how the people them supposed to have better understanding that squatting is illegal. The police them supposed to have better understanding that they cannot shoot no tear gas or no bullet in no crowd and it have children inside. Right, come on, these people here is not dog. These people here is not wild animal. These are human beings. I understand and I say a lot of things about them. And what I say for what is facts and reality. But that didn't mean that the police have to go and shoot the people. Yeah? That doesn't mean that. Yes, what they're doing is illegal, but they are not thieving, they are not killing nobody. They are not robbing nobody. They are not hampering nobody. They're just trying to get a piece, like what the man say. They're looking for a piece of land to make their life better. They are going about it in the wrong way, but at least they are still trying to make their life better. Now, if you can come and tell them to come after the land, you give them 1 hour? Come on, where is that? 1 hour? For move off a piece of land where you build your house and got your family? And when they move in 1 hour, you shoot them? What kind of crap is that? I best get this thing right now, people. We're talking about the government, the law enforcement, and the ordinary citizens in the country. Y'all best get this thing right. Or pressure gonna be on every single body. Y'all try and start make things right. Or it's going to get worse for the people, for the leadership, and for the police. It's going to get worse. Y'all start doing the right thing. Y'all know what is right and what is wrong. Y'all do the right thing and stop believing that y'all could gain something by bullying people. or trying to bully the government. It is not going to work. Okay, good luck to y'all people. And trust me, I feel it for the parents them who have the little kids there and the police firing a shot. Because if it was me and my daughter was in the crowd and police firing a shot, it would have been a different story.
We out there because we need place to live. You understand what's going on? Now, a lot of people here cannot afford 50,000, 60,000, 100,000, 120,000 rent. People here is poor people looking for somewhere to rest their head. And we got to get here to live. You understand? Let the government, let we pay for this land. We don't cut it and we don't get things on it when we sleeping in. You understand what's going on? And we need Barra to come and stand up because they say they can't pay for 50,000 house rent and over 4,000 persons in here right now. How many? How many? No surrender.
Now, this is the squatters. This is the one in success. I'm going to play two different clips by two different set of squatters. And I want you to see the difference, how the police handle the situation. Right? That the first set of squatters, no police fire no shot at them. No police fire no shot at the first set of squatters. But the set in success, shot was fired. I want you all to judge why. Just look at the people who squatted in different areas, and then y'all judge why shot was fired on one set of people and no shot was fired on the other set. Okay? Now, this woman here, who talking about no retreat, no surrender, that's a PNC slang. And I'm sure she is one of them who does be protesting on the road for the PNC against the government. And now she coming out saying that she have to get that land. She have to get that land. Let me tell her.
Yeah. Okay, on behalf of the people that are in Success Backlands, we are in constant solidarity because we are fighting to have a stable life in the country of our birth, right? We have seen the diplomat from the United States of America came here for one day and he was given preferential treatment. He could have said that he wanted the arms to remove out of his way, and that was done immediately. So why can Guyanese that are born here cannot occupy this land so that our children can have a stable life and a good education?
You are in constant solidarity because you are fighting to have a stable life in your country of birth. Now, why y'all can't fight for your solidarity and a stable life in the country of your birth, which is your rights? Why y'all cannot do that legally? Now you're talking about the American diplomat come to Guyana for one day and what could have happened. But he didn't come there illegally. Right? And you trying to get a piece of land in the country you born, but you're trying to do it illegally and now coming out trying to say that you're doing the right thing. You are not doing the right thing. Now, your government wasn't there. Granger wasn't there. Granger wasn't there. Why y'all ain't go to Granger to give y'all a piece of land legally? 5 years y'all squatting at your mother's sconde. And now I come and talk about are you fighting for stable life? Why didn't make the preparation when Granger was in power? Why y'all ain't go and get yourself started with your land when Granger was in power? Now I come trying to bully and talk a bunch of bullshit to get a piece of land out of this government. Now I am very much in support of y'all getting a piece of land. And I wish they could give y'all the land where y'all building on already. But if they don't give y'all the land, where's y'all next move? What is y'all next move? Y'all cannot bully nothing. And I'm going to say this over and over and over. Y'all using ignorance and bullyism, thinking that y'all going to get through with that. Or they're going to carry y'all somewhere. This is what y'all been doing since slavery abolished. And they ain't get y'all nowhere as yet. Why you think in this day and age that ignorance and bullyism is going to get you somewhere? It is not going to get you anywhere. There is other ways you can do things. Right? Y'all don't come out to that bullshit and talk about government and government and government. This government in power 2 months. Y'all was squatting there for 5 years on the green job. And y'all are going to get yourself sorted out. But still, y'all going and protest on the road about this government is fraud. And looking to them for help. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Aya is some real donkey for people. Ain't no joke. Aya is some real donkey.
Them and all the government that ruled from 1966 to now. Because every citizen supposed to get a piece of land from 13 years up. From 13 years up. We like, this is the oil-rich country. This is the oil-rich country that ExxonMobil they in. This is the oil-rich country. You trying to tell me they still can't get money from Exxon for going to cut a piece of land, for give whoever you promised this land? Who we are really think it is at all? 83,000 square miles and poor people in Guyana can't get a house lot. Poor people in our government. Shame on ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil is supposed to step up and say we're going to pay for the land wherever they sell to somebody and get them and let the poor people live.
I hear something. Guyana, yes, it's 83,000 square miles. But there is procedures that you have to go through to obtain a house lot. Squatting is illegal. Before y'all go and squat on the land that belongs to Gaisuku, y'all know it was illegal. Now, I can tell y'all this straight up. You have to be a jackass. You have to be a mother cunt to go and build a concrete structure on a fucking squatting land. You have to be ignorant and stupid and believe that you can bully your way out when push comes to shove. To go and build a permanent structure on a squatting land. People use squatting land to draw the government attention. Right? So you want to go and squat on a piece of land, build up your little dark pen, live in there until the government come to take you off, and then you ask them to reallocate you. Give you a piece of land legally. You cannot go and build a permanent structure on a squatting land and then claiming the government have to give you that land. You have to be an asshole to do that. Now the government have every right, or whosoever own the land have every right to bulldoze your fucking house. I wish that every one of y'all could get a piece of land. But it have to be legally given to y'all where the government assign the land for house lots. Not where y'all want it. The government can't give y'all land every time where y'all want it. They have to set up an area where they give house lots and reallocate you to that house lot. How the hell you could go and build a permanent structure on a squatting land and then trying to bully the government to give you that and talking about poor people? Yes, we know most people in the country is poor people. The government said I'm going to give 5,000 house lots. And you have to wait for the government to give 5,000 fucking house lots. Not for you to go and take it and demand it. What kind of stupidness are you come telling people, eh? I am no squatting is illegal. So if you're squatting and they come to move you, you must be ready to move. They will reallocate most of y'all. But you have to be in a position to break down your little shanty you have and go and build it back on your permanent piece of land. Come on, people. This is not no bully thing. Now, Granger was in there for 5 years. The president who you support, the same one we're talking about, no retreat, no surrender. The same president who you support, why you then got to he forget a piece of land legally? Right? Why you then got to he? No, you don't want that. You believe you can bully because it's the Indian government in power now. And Granger and Harman and all them come out and go protesting for a bunch of bullshit. You believe you can come and demand something. You cannot demand nothing. You cannot demand nothing. Now the government should, they must, and they will reallocate y'all. But they can break down your fucking house while you build it. Are you stupid mother cunt? They can break down your house. They should break it down. Don't give her no land there. Because you are supposed to have better sense that you cannot build a permanent structure on squatting land.